Time to talk Penn State football. Haven't had Tim Reedy on for a little bit, so excited to get his thoughts on what's going on with the Nittany Lions. And of course, he's made a couple trips up there to see them in person, so certainly can give us some perspective on that. But the latest college football playoff rankings and then bracket previews have come out here in the last day or so. So I want to show everybody where Penn State is slotting in right now. Despite being the number 4 team in the nation in the bracket, they would be number 6 and would possibly host Georgia at the number 11 spot. Almost guaranteed that these teams won't necessarily fit in all of these exact spots, but it does give us some fun stuff to look at. As you can see, a lot of teams in there that we would really love to see Penn State face off again. But this is saying Georgia coming to Beaver Stadium the weekend before Christmas to play Penn State. So Tim, give us your thoughts on the Nittany Lions here, getting placed at the number 6 spot, would host a home playoff game, and then potentially teams like Georgia or SEC squads would come to town. How would you feel about that, and how are you feeling about your Nittany Lions?
Well, I have to tell you, the bad news is that we had just learned that as Letterman, we will not be able to be on the sidelines for the
Oh.
playoff game. I know it was rippling through the Letterman's lounge and the sidelines the last time we were there. So I gotta slum it up in the stands with like the common folk, and I haven't done that in so long. And my wife said, "Hey, you get to sit next to me." I said, "I don't even know where our seats are." So,
Listen, yeah, I wouldn't let the common folk hear you say that.
yeah, well, yeah, that's kind of true.
Yeah,
Sorry about
they
that.
might throw food at you.
Yeah, that's right. Um, well, first of all, we have said for so many years how great it would be for an SEC team to come north in the cold weather. We seem to always play them in a bowl game where it's either indoors or it's very, very warm outside. But the notion of having Lane Kiffin or Georgia, maybe Tennessee, coming up to Happy Valley on either Friday night on December 20th or Saturday during the day. It warms my heart because I would like to see an SEC team be forced to play Big Ten football, where it's the big uglies up front, where it's run the football, where the ball is going to be just hard as a rock. Throwing game is not, going to be great. And if you talk about a great equalizer, I think the weather has the possibility to actually do that. That's what I would really, love to see. The Georgia thing intrigues me so much. Looking back to last week, it was going to be Ole Miss, but the way things have sort of, shaken out. But Penn State would go to Georgia if they win there. Then they go and play Miami. My gosh, two really powerhouses and two storied football programs that Penn State would have to get through to get to the national championship game. On the field, I like what the Nittany Lions have been doing the last couple of weeks. They finally found that Tyler Warren is on the team during the Ohio State game. They must not have known that, he was there. I haven't even commented, about that game. So many things I think that people are sort of questioning, but they have righted the ship. One thing I did read from the offensive coordinator, he said in the papers a couple of weeks ago after the Ohio State game, he said, I'm starting now to figure out who my players are, what they can do, and how I can use them better. And he did admit, Tyler Warren, best player on the football field, and he's got to get the ball to him more. And the last game that they had out in Indiana, they played the Purdue Boilermakers. Tyler Warren was everywhere. Drew Allar had plenty of time to throw the football. He was 17 of 19. His backup came in, Prabula. They did another great job. They're mixing it up, but defensively, Abdul Carter is a beast right now. He is getting everywhere. The secondary, I think, is gelling. It's taken this team a long time to figure it out, but they've finally gotten it. Nobody in the country, as far as the critics are concerned, Chad, is really taking this team really seriously. They don't think that they should be ranked as high as number 4 in the AP poll. But when you look at it, who they lost to? They lost to Ohio State in a very close game. Not many schools have only one loss. They should be ranked that high, right? Everybody would be. And so look, yeah, they had some struggles. They didn't play well against, Bowling Green, lost 34-27. The UCLA game, they, only won by like 21 points. But look, sometimes the good teams we see week after week, they struggle. And we saw Oregon struggle against
Wisconsin.
the Wisconsin Badgers this past week, and Todd Blackledge actually said it on the telecast. He said, "Look, good teams struggle, but the good teams figure out a way to win, and that's what Penn State is doing. They are playing well right now. They got a tough game in Minnesota. This is the team that." Beat them the last time that Penn State played up there. So it's going to be a good test for them. They finish up with Maryland in a couple of weeks, which shouldn't be that much of a test for them. But look, I think a lot is to be expected of this team. But certainly, just to end this thing on kind of a sour note. James Franklin is doing a fabulous job. You'd really want his record against anybody, 10, 11 wins every year, but he just can't beat Ohio State. And that's something I think that I would love in this playoff if we could somehow match up them to play them for the national championship. That would be
Yeah.
really unbelievable.
Well, if you did look at what we had there, the only way to match up with them would be in the national championship. And wouldn't that be fantastic to see a rematch of Penn State, Ohio State? I would tick everybody else in the nation off to the high heavens, but it certainly would make those two fan bases salivate for the chance, and Penn State wants another crack at them. Eric, the possibility of teams like Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, some of those teams coming up to play at Happy Valley in a playoff game. What do you think of all of that? This isn't final. I can almost promise you there's no way that all those teams are going to be in that exact same spot. But the fact that one of those could come up would be incredible. What is your thoughts? And who would you like to see your number one pick to come up to Happy Valley?
I'm surprised Tim didn't say Notre Dame, just because
right?
I know how much he despises Notre Dame. But no, it's true. Like you said, to see an SEC school and Georgia, who has been the top dog, no pun intended, the past couple of years. I mean, Carson Beck has thrown for over 2,800 yards. He's thrown 19 touchdowns, but he's also thrown 12 interceptions. So, it's a kind of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of offense this year for Georgia. I think to see them or Alabama again, either one of those, like Tim said, to come north. As far as Penn State is concerned, though, this team is going to go as far as their offense takes them. The defense, I don't think there's any question. And Tim kind of touched on it. They did have their struggles against some teams. They did win. And I think maybe some of the reasons why people are saying, well, why they rank so high when they only beat, Bowling Green by, a touchdown, and they didn't really beat, UCLA as bad as they should have. Okay, you can only play the team that's on the schedule. UCLA is in a down year. And I think they're saying, well, look, they really haven't played anybody, that has a winning record or is a quality team until they played Ohio State. I agree. I think this week against Minnesota is going to be a big test because Minnesota's been playing well this year. And I think this will be a good measuring stick just to see where Penn State actually is as far as that competition is concerned. If they can come out with a resounding win, I think that will help stabilize and put a staple in to say, we do deserve to be ranked number 6 or maybe even higher.
All right, Tim. Give me your 15-second pitch for the team that you do want to come up to play at Happy Valley.
I want to play Alabama because that's a team that everybody, no matter if they have 2, 3, 4 losses, they're still in the conversation to play in the national championships, game. It's a team that struggled. It's a team that everybody, I would just love to see Penn State, Bama just sounds so great to me. And I would love to beat them. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But look, to Eric's point, I would love to play Notre Dame, but maybe in the championship game where we can really beat them.
My vote, well, I don't know if that'll line up, but we'll have to see.
No, it won't. No.
My vote would be Notre Dame coming to Happy Valley for a whiteout game and catching an L against the Nittany Lions in the first round. That would be an incredible, and that would be a marquee win finally for James Franklin after all these years to feather in his cap.